Okay, so let's create a drum set part. I'm gonna go with the handwritten template under the general templates and call this drum. I call this drums. So the first thing we need to do, we go into the score manager, Command K. We'll open up the score manager, and then I click on blank staff. I go to drums, and here I go to drum set. Let me show you how the drums are mapped. Here you have something called notation style, and right now it's set to percussion. If I click on settings, I get this selection box where I can pick a notation style map. In this case, it's already set to the drum set notation style. We can click on edit to see what's actually happening here. As you can see, here are the instruments that are mapped to our staff. So for example, if I click on kick drum, if you think treble clef, it would be placed on the F4. That's where the kick drum usually sits, and you see all these different note heads. Well, I don't think it makes any sense to notate the kick drum as a half note, because the length of a percussion sound is undefined. It just rings as long as it rings. So usually it's quarter notes or a smaller value than a quarter note. So we definitely want to keep it as a regular note head. That's just how you notate the kick drum. But let's, for example, look at the right cymbal. So in this notation style, the right cymbal 2, for example, is placed on, again, let's think treble clef for a moment, on the D5 line here. And it uses an X. And that's typically what you see for cymbals and for the hi-hat in drum notation. Yeah, so here's where you can select different note heads for different note values. Here's where you decide where they should appear in the staff. So you can move these up and down. So in this case, I cancel out of this. Yeah, by the way, this is the drum set clef. Let's talk more about mapping here. Under device setup, I can go to edit percussion MIDI maps. And under device, I can select a mapping. None would give you the built-in GM. So I don't know why I call it none. Of course, it is a mapping. It's the standard GM. GM stands for General MIDI Mapping. You can see how this is mapped. So the snare is mapped to D2 and so forth. Now, if you see numbers here instead of the actual pitch, you can go to the preferences under the finale menu, and under view, right here where it says pitch representation, you can select pitch middle C, C4. That's my preferred way to look at things. And now you can customize that. So your snare drum could be mapped to a different note. You could change that, but I wouldn't really mess with it because everybody expects this mapping